The nature of human mind is such that if we can distinctly create something in our mind, the next step would be to empower that with our life energies. If we can do that, that will become a living reality by itself. Most human beings have lost this power to be able to create, truly create. Because mind has become listless and the life energies are not sufficiently organized to put it behind whatever you wish to. The whole science of Tantra Yoga is just this. I know in this part of the world, if I utter the word Tantra, people are thinking about acrobatic sexuality. It's truly a sacrilege that people who generally visit India for a month or two at the most become experts in Tantra and write books about it. Tantra means, literally means a technology. Technology means, technology is for creating what you want. If you, the physical technologies that we know around us, they're all about creating physical situations the way we want it. And when human minds try to create what they want, they'll ask for many things. Most of the time, you would be fortunate if your prayers are not answered. Yes. If all your prayers were answered, your life would be truly a disaster. Fortunately, most of them are not answered. So Tantra does not believe in creating what you want in terms of the physical existence around you, but is focused on what is generally considered maybe you would call it paranormal, in creating forms and identities which will function way beyond your own intelligence. So Tantra essentially focused on creating a mind higher than myself, making an intelligence beyond my present capabilities to become available. The process of creating this, the technology of making this happen, was what was known as tantric methods. In yoga it is known as tantra yoga. Learning to use your body, your mind and your energies as just instruments of life, so that it becomes available to a much higher possibility, an intelligence which is way beyond human capabilities. This fundamentally involves two basic steps. One is to have the ability to vividly create what you want in your mind, every detail of it. To be able to keep your personality traits out of this imagination, which takes a certain amount of training and dispassion about yourself. That is, you don't think much of yourself. If you think too much of yourself, even if you go into the restroom, there you have to write your name. 2 minutes to pee and come. There people have to leave their names. Have you seen? When there is a certain sense of inadequacy in a person, wherever he goes, he tries to leave his stamp. This has become the way, unfortunate way of the modern day humanity. Wherever they go, they have to leave their stamp. Smallest things, they have to sign their name on it. You will see in the Eastern cultures this was considered an absolute sacrilege, trying to leave your name on something. But these days they're also in the bathrooms, they're writing. The greatest temples that were built, masterpieces of art, nobody will know who is the master builder. His name is never there. That's one thing he will not do, put his name on it. Oh, this was built at this time, everything they know. Maybe the king who funded the temple, his name will be known. But the artist, the man who created it, his name will not be anywhere. This may seem very unfair for a Western mind. A man who did such a job, his name should have been established. But the man who created it is made such a way that he would be absolutely insulted if his name was put on a temple. So if one wants to have this capability of being able to create, truly able to create as Creator did, the most fundamental thing is to be able to keep your personality off your imagination. It takes a certain amount of sadhana. It takes a certain amount of preparation for a person to be like this, that he can extensively use his mind without imposing his personality upon it. There are very beautiful incidents. There was a South Indian sage, his name was Pusalar. The king in the town built a huge Shiva temple. It took many years to build this temple. And the next day was the opening ceremony for his temple, which was his lifetime's ambition. He put much money and effort to build this great temple. Next day is inauguration of the temple. But that night, Shiva appeared in his dream and said, I will not be able to come to your temple's inauguration because Pusalar has built another temple. I need to go there. He is also opening it tomorrow. King woke up with a fright because this temple, he has tried to build it for so many years and spent so much money and effort. And Shiva says he has to go to some other temple built by Pusalar in the same town. Who is this Pusalar and which is this temple that I do not know about? So they went searching for Pusalar. After much search, they found Pusalar in a small hut, a cobbler by profession. Those days, not a profession that was looked up to, but looked down upon. So the king went there and asked, where is your temple? Shiva says, he's going to go to your temple, not mine. Where is it? Pusalar said, I just built it in my mind. Every brick, every stone, he slowly built it, taking many years. And that is more of a reality than what you build with stone and brick. Once you build this, there is another step of empowering it with life energies, infusing it with life energies, so that it becomes a live process by itself. The tantric traditions in India have a variety of gods, especially goddesses. These goddesses were created by people. They actually created and infused life into them, that they became live forces. And even today, with certain access code if you have, you can call forth these goddesses, they become a living reality. There is a whole science and a tradition which evolved out of this science of how to make a god. The tantric traditions acquired mastery over these things. And generally, if I go into the details of this, it will be very hard to digest. Generally, always they created very powerful, hideous forms. Very few people created beautiful forms. All others intentionally created very hideous forms. Because the power of these goddesses would be such that if they were also pleasant and beautiful, invariably you would somewhere get attached to them. So they always created absolutely horror of goddesses, so that they were there for their calling. At the same time, You wouldn't want to be attached to them simply because of their appearance and their demeanor. When I was just second, third standard, how old would you be? 8 years? When I was just 7, 8 years of age, till I was probably 12, 13, this took such a grip of me from within. There was another boy who was about 2 years or a year younger to me. He was my cousin brother. They came from a village, so he was sent to our family where my father is supposed to be a very strict taskmaster, so they thought the boy will study better here than there. So they sent this boy to study with us. He was just a year younger to me. I always would climb to the third floor terrace where there was no staircase, where nobody can reach me. Only I have the access. Nobody else can climb there. I just built a whole world of my own. Another world. In every detail, in minutest detail. It's very difficult for people to understand this. Suppose I want to create a flower, I went cell by cell. You know how much time it would take to mentally create this flower? Every point by point by point. Like this I created a whole world of my own. If I just sat like this for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, unknowing I just sat building it by piece by piece, piece by piece, piece by piece. It became such a reality. Nobody else had entry into my world. I lived in my own thing. But this boy who was in the house, sometimes I took him on a tour. And the boy went so crazy. He got so attached to me. He wants to go there every day. If I don't take him, he will start crying. Then my mother asking me, what are you doing to him? He wants to go there every day, otherwise he'll just freak out on me. If one has the necessary stability to remove his person from the activity that he does, if you can completely eliminate your person from whatever you do, suddenly you can raise the pitch of your activity to a completely different dimension. But people do not know generally how to act towards something that doesn't concern them, or they are not involved in it. And that's the limitation. That's the terrible, crippling limitation that a human being has imposed upon himself. Whatever is not him or his, he cannot act upon it. If this one limitation one can cross, we can do such miraculous things that most people, the world will have to dismiss our lives as a fairy tale. It can become like that. If only, if we can take away our individual person from our thought, our emotion, and our activity and our energy. So the whole yoga that you're doing here is that fundamental of learning to take away your individual from simple things that you're doing. A very deep reverse of what I'm talking has happened, especially here in this part of the world. It's always about you, it's always about you. At one time they were preaching, you must believe in God. Now they are preaching, you must believe in yourself. That was bad enough. This is horrible. If I don't believe in myself, how can I be confident? How can I act in the world? If I do not build my self-esteem, how can I operate in the world? Right now, the very air that you breathe is doing such complex functions, isn't it? Isn't it so? Is it doing such complex functions to keep this one alive right now? The very air that you breathe. Does it have any self-esteem? If it had, it would go into your lungs and tickle you and do something else with you. Without any inhibition, without any fear, you can inhale this and take it inside. Is there any one person here whom you can take inside with total confidence? Because you don't know what they'll do once they get inside. Isn't it? Because the individual identification has become so strong that it has completely dislocated the human being from his original nature. He stopped operating as life. If he operates as life, and just life alone, his capabilities are immense, and his capabilities no more need to be limited to what is contained within his physical form, because he has access to everything. So the whole Tantra Yoga is about this, about breaking the individual shell, so that what you do doesn't happen as a petty individual, but happens as a whole. There are various methods to bring into one's life to see that the individuality does not become something that you have to trip on every moment of your life. It does not become a concrete block around your feet, that it doesn't let you move anywhere beyond the limitations that you have set for yourself. A few simple methods we have started with these first 2 or 3 programs. But if we want to know the joy of living here without the limitations of being a small individual, then we have to do something more active.
I think you must look at yourself very carefully, because the children are picking up everything rapidly and they'll exaggerate everything that you're doing. So, one foremost thing is, at least make yourself in such a way that you would like to be. Somebody may not approve, it doesn't matter. At least you made yourself in such a way that you like the way you are. Gurus… no, women will not make good gurus, nor will men make good gurus. Unless you know how to be beyond the two, you can't be this. If you're a man or a woman, if you're stuck with your gender, then there's no chance of being a guru because you're looking at the mechanics of life in a completely different way. You're just looking at life as life. All the problems on the planet is simply because everybody has their own mission. And these missions are creating variety of conflict. If all of us sit here without any mission, mission means an assumed position of importance and agenda, individual agenda. If all of us can sit here, what is a human being longing for? Every human being. All of you, wherever you are right now, you would like to be little more than what you're right now, isn't it so? Hello? Yes. If that little more happens, what? Little more? If that happens, what? So it looks like in installments you're going towards something. How much more would settle you for good? Let's look at it right now.